Okay, welcome back. I'm going to do a very quick video, show you some of the DVDs and Blu-rays that I've been dragging into the house lately. And the general theme of my video today is double dipping. Why not? It's only money. You can't take it with you. Because I've been doing a lot of double dipping lately. Things I've already got on DVD, I'm now buying Blu-rays. Let's start off with this classic Boris Karloff movie from 1945, The Body Snatcher. Ooh. Now, this, of course, is one of the films produced by Val Lewton at RKO in the 1940s. And I have the Lewton box, and I always said I was not going to start buying these films on Blu-ray. I have not yet bought The Cat People. I'm sure I will eventually. But somebody was telling me, my friend Joe of Mayo's Movies, Joe, talked about this several months ago, about how good this Blu-ray transfer was. And I was thinking, well, okay, I'm sure it's good, but I finally decided to take Joe's advice. I'm very glad that I did, because this is beautiful to look at, and it enhances the pleasure of seeing the movie, which is a great horror movie. Boris Karloff, Bela Lugosi, directed by, who is it, Robert Wise? Yeah. You know, I can't remember one day to the next. I believe it's Robert Wise. It is Robert Wise. Okay. So I also... today I got a package in the mail from Shout Factory. This package, right? Check this out. Now there were 2 DVDs in here and a poster. I decided to get their new collector's edition of Kiss of the Vampire, which I do have a copy of this already, but I've been hearing this has something like 3 different versions and a lot of extra features, because there was a different version that was released to television. It's called Kiss of Evil. And I'm not sure exactly which one I've seen. I may have seen 2 different versions already, but this is a terrific Hammer film, so I'm very glad to have gotten it. And it came with a poster, which, let's see if I can find room for this in my TV room. Is that nice? Huh? Anyway, all right. And another film I decided to get in a Blu-ray edition is I Bury the Living, which is a film from 1957 starring Richard Boone. All about a guy who is managing a cemetery, and he starts putting pins in a map showing where everybody is going to be buried or something like that. And everybody that he puts a pin into somebody's name, they end up dying in mysterious circumstances, which is not a bad idea since he's running a cemetery. But anyway, I've never seen this in a pristine version, so that'll be interesting. I Bury the Living. More double dipping. This is from Trip to Big Lots. A couple of trips to Big Lots, actually. I said I would never replace the Star Trek movies on Blu-ray, but here I am. They were $5 a piece. So I have The Voyage Home, The Undiscovered Country, The Search for Spock, and The Wrath of Khan. And they also, I had picked up, this is about 2 or 3 months ago, I had picked up Star Trek The Motion Picture, because this really does stand apart from all the other original series films. This is kind of an epic that is on a whole different level than the other movies. And a lot of people don't like this because of that, but I actually think it's a beautiful film. And it's the fact that it is so visually rich that I wanted to see it on Blu-ray. Haven't watched it yet. So anyway, they also had copies of Star Trek Nemesis and Generations. And I didn't buy those because they're not 2 of my favorite in the entire series. So anyway. And while I was at Big Lots, I also picked up this first season of a TV show called The Tudors, which I've heard about, and but I have never seen any of these episodes. But I like the subject matter, so that'll be a lot of fun. Now, I also got some things from oldies.com. Okay. Now, a few weeks ago, my friend Harry Benson posed a question on Facebook having to do with actors and actresses that we like and we try to collect. And he asked the question, how many of their films have we actually seen and do we actually own? And he brought up the name of Robert Mitchum, who happens to be my #1 actor for the Golden Age. And it made me think that I probably have not seen most of Mitchum's films. So I went on IMDb and I started checking off the ones that I've seen, the ones that I actually own. And true, I have not seen most of his films. So I decided to take advantage of the most recent Warner Brothers archive sale and pick up some things that were discounted price. I picked up 3 things. One is a film called Betrayed from 1944 Now, the alternate title for this is When Strangers Marry, and I used to have that title on VHS. But this is a very cool movie. 1944, Robert Mitchum was basically just starting out. He had started out in films in 1943 with a lot of uncredited scenes and brief scenes in westerns and stuff like that. And then he is about as slim and trim as I've ever seen him in this movie. He almost looks like a different person. But it's a very good little movie. This was actually made at Monogram Studios, one of the Poverty Row studios. But it has a lot of quality. The director is none other than William Castle, who later on went on to do films like House on Haunted Hill and The Tingler, a lot of really cool movies. He puts a lot of really good touches in this. It's a mystery story about a young woman played by Kim Hunter who basically marries a man that she's only seen for a few days and maybe seen him 3 times. It's a spur of the moment thing. The guy is played by Dean Jagger, and she begins to suspect, all evidence is pointing to the fact that he may be involved in a murder. And Mitchum plays a man who has been in love with her and has been trying to marry her, but he's trying to be a friend and help out with this mystery. So it's a very good movie, very good movie. Next is from 1946. He did this movie called The Locket at RKO with Lorraine Day and let's see, who else is in this? Yeah, Gene Raymond and Brian Ahern. Very good little mystery. He plays one of the men involved with Lorraine Day, who is mentally unfit. Very good little flick. All right, had never seen that before either. And finally, in 1948, Mitchum, by this time he was an established star. He did this very cool western called Blood on the Moon, co-starring people like Barbara Bel Geddes, Robert Preston, Phyllis Thaxter, Walter Brennan is in it. Very, very good western that I had never seen before. And I think, who was the director of this one? I think maybe, I think this is also, yeah, Robert Wise again. Robert Wise. Very good movie, and I highly recommend it. So, all right, and one more thing. There were a lot more films starring Mitchum that were not on sale, and I decided I didn't want to pay those prices, at least right now. But I'm sure I will go back and collect more of his stuff. Now, I also decided to pick up this record that Mitchum made in 1957. It's available on vinyl, but they're very expensive, so I decided to get the CD and go for cheap. This is called Calypso is Like So. Calypso is Like So. Dumb title. This is Robert Mitchum. For some reason, somebody convinced him to go into the studio and mimic a Caribbean-type voice and sing in that style and do all these Calypso songs. This is, it's not great music, but it's great as a curiosity item. Very cool. And he also, there are 2 songs on here that are added to the CD version, like they do with a lot of CD releases that are not Calypso. One is called The Ballad of Thunder Road, which was the theme song to a movie that Mitchum did called Thunder Road, which I've never seen, but now I'd like to see it. And he also sings a sort of a country song called My Honey's Lovin' Arms. And those 2 songs are performed in his own natural voice. He's a very good singer. If you remember, he sang the theme song to River of No Return with Marilyn Monroe. Well, she didn't sing, he did. Anyway, so I also got 5 movies that were on sale because they have a sale at oldies.com. 5 movies for, what is it, $25 or something like that. So I decided to get some movies from featuring another actor that I like, a name that a lot of you may not have heard of, a guy named Jack LaRue, who was going all the way back to the very early 30s. He was doing starring roles and supporting roles, and most of his work was in films that were low budget studios, that kind of thing. But he also, I should have brought this downstairs and I didn't. One of the Criterion Collection films that I bought at the most recent sale is a film called The Story of Temple Drake, starring Miriam Hopkins and Jack LaRue. He had a good starring role in that one. He was a very, very good, heartless, tough guy type in most of his films. He resembles Humphrey Bogart quite a bit, and really has an edge to him. Sometimes he plays a good guy, and sometimes somebody who's sort of ambiguous in personality, but I think he's a great actor. So I picked up these films, and this is called Take the Stand, co-starring Thelma Todd. This is the only one I haven't tried to watch yet. This is Gentleman from Dixie, which I think he plays a good guy in this one. Here's a movie called I Demand Payment from the early 1930s, where he plays a guy who's in an insurance racket. Not a good guy. Not a very good guy at all. Here's the best one of all. This is Hard Guy. That's Jack LaRue on the cover there. That's a lot of fun. And then I got this one where he plays a policeman. This is called The Fighting Rookie. Fighting Rookie. Unfortunately, this didn't play. It's one of those situations where I put the DVD into the machine and it started freezing up and it wouldn't go any farther. So I took it out, washed it, and that didn't help. It just made it worse. So it does happen sometimes, especially when you get these things from oldies.com. It's kind of a crapshoot, but I'll get it replaced. Anyway, that's my update. Let me know if you've seen any of these movies and what you think. Good night.